Welcome to Comic and Screen. I'm Sam Otten, and I'm joined by Jason Book. Hey, Jason.
Hey Sam, how are you?
Pretty good. Today, we're going to be talking about Superman issue 36, which continues the Jeff Johns, John Romita Jr. run involving Ulysses and the Men of Tomorrow. So, Jason, what are your first reactions to this new chapter in the story?
Uh, the first thoughts were this is more like it. I thought it was a lot better than the last issue. Like the cover, like the big splash page action battle scene between Ulysses and Superman, like the kind of feeling of threat going on in this. You know something's going to happen. And I like the stuff with Lois and Jimmy as well. More of that kind of stuff is always welcome in a good Superman story.
Yeah, and I like how this story has had kind of some parallelism of getting some Daily Planet scenes in every issue. And so I think that's been good to kind of carry that forward. I still haven't seen how it's going to pay off, but I'm pretty confident in Jeff Johns that the Daily Planet side of things and the Lois Jimmy is going to tie into kind of the main thrust of the plot at some point. I thought this was cool too. We get a little more explanation about Ulysses' offer to the planet and how that's kind of working. But then throughout the issue, we're also finding out, wait a minute, something's not quite as it seems on the surface. There's something else that seems to be going on with this sort of deal for the 6 million people.
And then some sort of weird character on the ship or something that was kind of tied up and things like that. We don't really know what that is, right?
Yeah, I had to go back. So that character is from the very first issue. Like Superman and Ulysses end up kind of taking him down together in the first issue, and then he gets caged up on Stryker's Island. But then he was not really, he never appeared again, as far as I could tell when I skimmed back through. He didn't appear again until now, issue 6 of the story.
Interesting.
So,
Eh?
yeah, and he has kind of this history with Ulysses. He's the one that was threatening Ulysses. He had a kind of some kind of conflict with Ulysses back in Dimension 4, and he told Ulysses, "I'm gonna destroy your home, your home world or your home planet." And Ulysses didn't know that Earth even still existed.
Wow.
So I had to kind of go back and connect because Jeff Johns kind of planted some stuff back at the beginning, and he's now starting to pick up those threads.
Yeah, I feel like I totally missed that. But anyways, yeah, there's a lot going on, right? And
Well, and it's still kind of mysterious because when Ulysses kind of went and visited them, they were speaking in a different language. So this to me was kind of like this big, question mark issue of like, okay, stuff's gonna, I think, be revealed here pretty shortly. I think probably in the next issue we'll start to get some more answers to it.
Yeah, so after your disappointment with the last issue art-wise, I know it was still a little rough in places, but did you think it was a lot more solid in this issue?
Yeah, many fewer like panels where I was like, ew, or like those kinds of reactions.
Yeah, gotcha.
It still definitely looks, like his kind of style, which I'm okay with his style, but I just don't like those panels where it really pulls me out of the story because something looks so off or so rushed or so kind of hurried.
Yeah, it's funny,
This
right?
one went okay.
Yeah. Like when he's doing the action scenes, it's like, wow, like even when it does look rough, it just really conveys the feeling of action or speed or movement. But a lot of his kind of talking head scenes, if they're not just right, they just look kind of off these days,
Yeah.
you know?
I agree with you though on when Ulysses and Superman are actually having their throwdown.
Oh, it's great.
There's several panels where I'm like, oh, that's pretty intense, or you could really kind of feel you could feel that these are two supermen kind of going at each other. So yeah, I thought those ones were really well executed.
Yeah, he channels Jack Kirby definitely in those kind of scenes, and I love that about that artwork.
Yeah, so the artwork was definitely to me something I mean, I still wouldn't really consider him yet, any of my favorite artists or anything like that, but this one I thought the art had some good moments, and then the rest of the scenes, at least it didn't like pull me out of it like it did in the last issue.
Yeah.
So that's there, yeah. And then Jeff Johns, I'm just kind of curious to see what's going on, because there's still this mysterious character that kind of is observing it and seems to kind of, I don't know, he's like watching Superman, sort of saying like, oh, Superman, you need to be doing this or doing that. And I have no idea who that character is. And then the prisoner with Ulysses, that one to me is still kind of mysterious, like what's really going on with the 6 million people.
Yeah, it's pretty interesting. Like, I like where the story's going, and it is definitely keeping us guessing. And except for a few blips art-wise in the, I don't know what it was about the previous issue. It was just maybe a rushed chapter or something. But this feels much more on track, and I still really like where it's going.
And I liked bringing Ulysses' parents back into it because a few issues back, that was, I thought, some of the best emotional scenes were with Ulysses' parents, and so I thought it's good now to bring that emotional thread forward.
Definitely.
for them to kind of, yeah, what are they going to do with this decision? And really, we saw glimpses of a lot of people having to think about this decision of, do we want to leave? Do we have faith in Earth kind of being able to improve itself? I was also, I don't know if you thought about this at all, but I found myself thinking a little bit about like the Ferguson, Missouri stuff that's happening here pretty close to where I live. Um, but just this idea of like, are things getting better, or are we still facing the same problems that we haven't been able to work through and solve? And I feel like Jeff Johns' story is actually pretty timely, because it's kind of, to me, a question that we all have to kind of consider is, are we getting better? Are we doing things to actually have our society move in a good direction? Or are things pretty stagnant? And that's really, to me, that's where this story has gone.
I really like that element in a lot of good superhero stories, because those are the things that really connect it with the humanity of the characters, whether they're human or not. It makes Superman question things about himself, maybe, and there you're going to have some classic moment, hopefully coming out, where Superman really kind of gets people kind of to remember what's great about Earth and what's great about the human race, and to inspire people and things like that. I love that element of the character, and we know that there's going to be some sort of great moment where maybe some people will go, because in the next issue it said it was they're visiting Dimension 4 or whatever you call it. So
Right.
I think this is like, I thought originally it would just be a 6-parter, but I guess maybe this is a 12-part story or something like that.
Yeah, I'm not really sure. But I agree with you. I think there are some of those moments coming, and I think Superman's already setting them up here, because he was saying, it's not my job as Superman to solve all the problems. I just do what I can do. And
Yeah.
actually, humanity together has a lot more power than Superman does.
Exactly.
And Superman recognizes that. So I think that is going to build to kind of a climax in terms of the sort of the underlying theme of this story.
Yeah, I'm just like, I really hope we get much more issues like this, and like the first few, that one in the middle just kind of really kind of gave it, I don't know, I guess maybe in a collected edition you'd just be like, oh, that was kind of a boring issue or something, but I just find that the level of quality in the first few and issues like this are really higher, and they kind of set the bar up for themselves, so I hope they can keep delivering on that.
Yeah, I'm right there with you. So, all right, we'll have to check it out next month, and maybe we can see, try to get a sense of how much farther this story is going in terms of this main arc.
Great, looking forward to it.